collection with a very berry bunch. I don't know. I just know we have lots of red decks to get into, and when I thought red, berry was in my head. So, our first deck is a surprise in red, just the regular version. Very simple and nice. We have, I think, maybe two or maybe two more of these to go through in blue. And maybe, I guess, holographic to get into. But anyway, I hope your day's been well and that you're ready to relax and just look through some cards. So as we do this, please get yourselves nice and comfy, as there's an 11 of clubs, a couple queens, and some jokers. Okay, so as we go through tonight, I'll leave a link either somewhere early in the video or towards the end. At the end, a playlist of our collection thus far. Sorry, I am incredibly tired tonight. It's just been one of those, I guess, months you can say. And if any of these decks catch your fancy, or something you may like, most of them, where I got them, I'll leave it in the description. And why not let me know your favorite deck of the night as we get through this one. The plan is, once we get to our 1000th video, to do a little bit of a bigger giveaway, as we have a standard front on these cards with a lot of the decks that from these videos and regular, never mind, not so standard, solitaire videos that people enjoy, just to make it a little more personal and not just my tastes in there. That was the Slow Hands deck. I think that one may be from our 200s, earlier 200s. The good old Coca-Cola deck. Oh, it's been a while. So one of those designs where you have to keep it one way or it gets a little wild. With a simplistic front for the face cards and numbering. I believe I got this one at an antique store, not a antique store. Always try to get my A's and N's correct when I'm tired. This one's one of my favorite with its vibrant red and little white accents throughout. Just something simple, sweet, refreshing. Unlike Coke itself, if you know what I mean. The Game Over deck. Now, I think this deck may have made its debut around the later 200s. And I enjoy it quite a bit. A different art style throughout the cards. Pixelated font. And nice face card designs throughout. Good color matching and contrast. So far, this one is one of the favorites. Definitely the best of these 5 for my tastes. And plus, it's nice that it reminds you of a Game Boy when going through. This deck was a big disappointment initially. I thought, look at the box, it's so colorful, so much potential. Jokers, not bad. they're all the same color, and there's not much art variation if I remember. surfaces. Honestly, it's not as bad as I remember. Alright, let's see. Let's go with this one. The Chow playing cards. Now these are actually very, very nice. The box, if the box didn't give that away already. The texture, the simplistic design, the feel in the hands. Interesting. And the art style on the cards. It's one of those decks that is much better in person than on camera. The feel is just one of those very extraordinary textures that just makes you kind of wanna play with them. So it's gonna go game over then the Chow deck. For sure. This deck made its debut, I believe, during the 500s in a special, very lovely box of what seems to be a speakeasy bar singing. A little bit of jazz going on and just, come on now. I did not expect them to be this nice upon opening. Got a Zeppelin in there, a train. Very good art, very nice foil, metallic type look on the cards. What more could you want, old sport? Or old sport? Very pleasant texture to shuffle as well. Now I think it goes. This might be tied with game over, come to think of it. Wang Mountain U or Wang U Mountain deck. Calligraphy Chinese. Satisfying back design. And I remember correctly, Bokobo playing cards. Bokobo from experiences has been a little bit hit and miss. This one obviously has a lot going on with it. One of those decks that's nicer to look at than play with. It does have a nice texture, but you could tell it could be a bit busy along the sides. Still, the top three are the Grand, Chow, and Game Over. Let's actually move this a little bit like that. Raspberry flavor snackers. Gotta love the nutrition label. A soft pink on the cards, magic card, and it's interesting how they put softer colors with a bit of a brown, but not bad. Face card variation, in my opinion, would be a bit better with a little more stronger colors as well as a little more detailed back design, but all in all pretty solid. It just leaves you wanting a little bit more, like that one. You do not want more, it's just wow. Hot, fresh, delicious. D-Lynn's Donut Shop. Donuts, coffee, and pastries. Now I'm not sure if this is a real place. Probably. We have a cute little donut box for the cards. Interesting. I didn't really look at that before. That's the back design, a little bit of a softer font with nice art throughout the cards. A softer color as well. I guess I just like more of the vibrant colors than softer, but this one does alright. It's actually kind of funny. I had a donut today when I usually don't, like, usually meaning almost never, on a day that I get this deck out once again after a long while. Let's leave that one right there and bring out the Cherries deck. Now this one, high hopes for with the box like that. Kinda surprised with the actual design. They have a decent texture. There's a little bit of a bend in the card. Nice artwork. Not bad. It just, again, like the raspberry deck, it leaves you wanting a bit more, especially with the back design and a little more vibrancy. Some decks are good with softer colors, but some need it pretty badly. Lo-Fi Mix Volume 1. Now this was one of the first decks introduced to us with a different art style on the face cards, and it was a welcome sight, and at the time it was a favorite for its uniqueness. Still not a bad deck though. Dang, that must have been before the 200s. And I use the 200s more for reference since there was a time NOC 3000 by 2. I used to upload videos, not every day, but pretty much every day but Saturday for a while. And then I went into everyday uploading for almost 500 days now. So before the 200s was the point of a different little saga, I guess, in the solitaire videos. I'm just trying to focus on the cards, my bad, but still. It's simple, it's nice, it's not trying to do too much. It's not bad. Still tough to beat the Game Over, Grand, and Chow decks. But this one's just good because it's simple, done well. Phoenix. The Grand is sophisticated, done very well. And Game Over is quirky, done right. Obviously had ourselves a decent solitaire game to end on this one. But standard face cards with a varied back. Ooh, let's get into this next one. So this next deck was our first introduction, or was our introduction redundancy, my bad, to Third Way Industries. And they have a distinctive art style to their cards, specifically their face cards, where they have this smoother comic type look to them, and just a little bit of creativity. I really enjoy this one. The only thing I don't like as much is that there are 4 colors, one each to represent each suit. But even being said, as it got a bit nippy, it's still very enjoyable and with a nice back design. Because of that deck, I purchased, I think, a couple more third-way industry decks for us, just out of the enjoyment of the overall experience. Yeah, this deck is doing a lot. It was surprisingly more complex than I would have thought from looking at it on the box, and that's saying something, since I think we all thought it might be a bit wiry, but not this wiry. Not a bad deck. I think top 5 so far are gonna be Coke, Game Over, Chow, Grand, and Modern Idols. Surprise once again, but this time the holographic deck. Magic cards, some jokers, and just a nice effect throughout. Everything else is the same as the last deck, but that nice shine. Alright, why not? Let's get into, well, that's a thicker deck, come to think of it. The Pizza House deck, kinda similar to our D-Lens Donut Shop. Gotta like a quirk when done well. Pleasing back design. Fitting. Jokers. Nice contrasting colors between the face cards. I mean the suits. Can you tell I'm tired? I hope you are too. Just nice to check out and just look at things for a bit. Yeah, not bad. I think it was probably around $15 to $20 for that deck. That's where sometimes you look back at it and think, dang, I'm a bit dumb. And honestly, I think that more than you think. Oh my. This is the Little Deck of Horrors. And I remember this one opens a bit funky. I said, oh my, because I was going to grab the deck, and then my eyes went crossed a little bit. So bear with me, my friend. So it has a good texture. It obviously touches on some cult classics for horror in the face cards. Nosferatu, or just kind of generic Halloween, Medusa, Mummy, the thing from the creature from the Black Lagoon, I think. No. Yeah. I wish it were a little bit more, but then again, when you compare this deck to, let's say the Grand, it's not going to look as good, but when you compare it to a standard deck, it's better than you think. Retro Wave. Now this one was also part of a special, I believe, in the 500s. Talk about retro. Now the face cards kind of surprised me on this one. I don't really like when there's a flesh tone to the face cards. I don't know why, it just seems a bit weird. But besides that, a very nice design throughout the cards, good card art. Even though if it's difference and simplistic but satisfying pack for the theme. And I love it when the edges do that. I probably don't like flesh-colored things when it's in art because it might remind me of when I tried doing the Lord's deck. Drawing as a kid, or just at any point, tried putting a flesh tone, and it just seemed off since it was too much of the same color. Since looking at my hand, you can see there are different tones throughout, and it's just a bit funky putting one color the whole time. Alright, now this deck was unexpected. It's not bad, it's just not as good in person as you would think. But beyond that issue, I love the coloring. I think they should have gone with something besides gold-ish or bronze, whatever you prefer. But very cool card designs throughout, and you still get that little side effect in the deck. Nice box too. Textured throughout. You can hear the beads just a little bit. Alright, the Thunderbird Room deck. Now this deck reminds me of like Las Vegas, maybe Arizona. Nighttime hallucination type stuff. And you can't tell me I'm the only one there. But this deck is a simple, sweet treat with variations throughout the cards. And I think the box is probably the best thing. But let's take a look at the back design. Come on now. Honestly, it's very underrated. Like, you compare it to this, and you think, yeah, it's not as good, but it's still pretty good in comparison. It has been a while since this deck. Sorry about that one. I don't like when it's hard to get the lip out. It's been just a great amount of time since this one. And for those of you who don't know, I think bioluminescent means sea creatures. Just that glow slightly. It kind of makes sense with the name, but my butt didn't know at first until I looked it up. So hopefully I saved you the hassle of doing so. Right, we are down to our final 5 decks. Let's see, let's drop these 2 down here for now. Or actually, let's leave this one up and drop down the pizza and donuts together. Aurora, Northern Lights. Now, I didn't know that Aurora actually meant Northern Lights. It makes sense. Ooh, yeah, the darker coloring. Love it. Because we recently had an Aurora deck in our regular solitaire videos. And that's where I came to learn that there's an Aurora for the Northern Lights and there's another term for the Australian Lights. But I forget. I always thought it was more of a description or adjective than anything. The Ecliptic Zodiac Playing Cards deck. It's only fitting with all of our Zodiac cards we have out there. Reminds me of maybe a child's like Chuck E. Cheese play area carpet. It just gives off, does this not give off like early 2000s, late 1990s elementary school vibes? Come on, that just brings me back to something I don't really remember. Anyway, nice card variation throughout. Interesting choices for face cards. I don't mind it. It's obviously a bit busy, but in the end, it is what it is, and it is pretty decent. Alright, last three decks. We have one more familiar, so let's go to that. The surprise deck in blue, so this shouldn't be anything new. What we've already seen, a thick, hefty deck of cards with a nice, simplistic art design, very good texture, and feel in the hand. Last two decks. The Contagion deck. The deck I debuted when I got COVID a couple weeks ago, I believe, or it feels like more, honestly. I don't know. Does that say cotton hell? You bet it does. Pure hell. Alright, they think they're funny and got jokes. Anyway, just one of those darker tone decks, kind of hard to come by. Nice change of play. We're not used to the regular style of art and decks. And lastly, not least certainly, the Dragon deck. Now these cards were a bit surprising, let me tell you that. High hopes. Very nice side shine, gilded cards. Flip it over. And I think this might be the better one, because I think I have two more of these that don't really highlight the different suit colors. Face cards are almost all the same, but the coolest thing about this is obviously the gilded edges. And that, my friend, is another step through the collection. We're almost caught up with the entire collection, so still working our way through. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Please have yourself a relaxing remainder of your night. Many, many sweet dreams, and until we meet again, stay safe and eat your fruits and vegetables.